Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into something that, well, I think it trips up pretty much everyone. Why we hesitate. Why do we wait to pursue opportunities, whether they feel big or small, even when something inside us is kind of screaming to go for it?
Yeah, and the material we're digging into today, specifically this chapter 6, it puts a really sharp focus on this exact thing. It highlights this core problem. How much time we spend just, well, convincing ourselves not to act, waiting for some like perfect moment that just never seems to arrive.
And it makes a pretty bold argument right up front, doesn't it? Maybe even a little confronting. Basically, that the reasons we give ourselves for holding back, they're almost certainly wrong, just
hmm
wrong.
hmm There's no magical right time to start improving your life or chasing something you truly want. This chapter argues the best time is right now, in that moment, your heart, your gut tells you to move.
And there's this fascinating idea that strength doesn't come before the action.
Right. It comes from the action.
Exactly, that the very act of moving, of just starting, is what brings what it calls the real you out of your head and into the world.
It makes you think of that Wayne Gretzky quote, doesn't it? The source mentions it.
Oh, yeah. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Classic.
Totally. And what this chapter adds to that is this angle of regret. It suggests you almost never regret taking the shot, even if you miss. But you will absolutely always regret holding back, not trying at all.
Okay. So for this deep dive, our mission is clear. We're going to pull out the core arguments, the really compelling examples, and the practical stuff from this chapter. We want to understand why we hesitate, why our excuses often just fall flat, and what incredible things might be waiting for us if we just find the courage to begin. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's start with a scenario that feels incredibly real. It's described right at the beginning of the chapter. This guy, Tom, at Stetson State House.
Right. He's just closed a huge business deal, feeling good professionally, but maybe a bit shaky personally, divorced kids.
Exactly. And he sees someone across the room, someone who catches his eye. He thinks about walking over, and boom, hesitation hits instantly.
Yeah, and his mind just goes into overdrive, right?
Mm.
Is it too soon? What about the kids? What will she think? All those what ifs, those doubts, they just flood in. And the chapter points out, he's facing this crucial decision right then in like the next 5 seconds.
And it's not just about dating, is it? The chapter broadens this out. Think about raising your hand in a meeting. You have an idea, but you're maybe a little unsure.
Oh, definitely. That moment is so fleeting.
It's gone if you don't act. Or, offering a genuine compliment to someone. If you wait, the moment passes. It feels awkward later.
And this is where the source gets pretty blunt. It basically says any reason you use to hold back in those moments, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty direct. It's not actually safer to stay quiet. It's not better to let the chance slip by. It's not futile. It's not less risky in the long run. Your excuses, your reasons, this chapter just says flat out, they're wrong.
So why? Why do we do this? Why make our lives harder listening to these fears, talking ourselves out of things?
Well, the chapter offers what it calls a brutal answer. And it's not just the obvious stuff, like fear of rejection or failure or looking stupid.
Okay.
The deeper truth, maybe the harder one to swallow, is we hide because we are afraid even to try.
Afraid to try because we might find out we're not as good as we thought. Is that it?
Precisely. That fear of discovering we're not good enough,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredibly powerful. There's this story in the chapter about Kendall, this really talented 15-year-old singer.
Right. Her mentor recommended her for a big audition in New York City. Someone who actually placed kids on tours.
Yeah, a big deal. But Kendall, despite wanting it, she hesitated. Never wrote the mentor back.
And when asked why, it wasn't fear of the audition itself.
No, that's the key. She said she feared everything that might happen after. She literally said, what if I didn't make it? What if I am not as good as I think I am?
Wow. And that leads to that really heartbreaking self-sabotage if she doesn't try.
Yeah. She can keep telling herself she's amazing, that she was just, too lazy or the timing wasn't right. Anything but face the possibility of trying and, well,
Of sucking, as the chapter puts it, or feeling like a loser.
exactly. It's this defense mechanism. We protect our ego. The chapter even uses a personal example about avoiding exercise, dodging the reality of your physical shape. We dodge challenges, sacrifice what we want, just to protect this fragile image of ourselves.
So how do you break that? How do you push past it?
Well, the source offers this question. It's so simple, but honestly kind of revolutionary when you really think about it. What if you're wrong?
Okay. Elaborate on that.
What if you're wrong about not being good enough? What if you are as good as people say? What if your idea is brilliant? What if that person across the room is interested? What if being single isn't so scary? Are you really going to let those worries, those what ifs, stop you from even finding out?
Okay, okay. But what if? What if you do try and, yeah, you kind of bomb? You do suck in that moment.
Then the source has this amazing, almost defiant response. So what?
Huh.
Right.
Just, so what?
So what? At least you tried. That's the crucial part. The chapter really emphasizes that the outcome of that one attempt, getting the role, the date, the job, it's actually secondary.
That's the main point.
No, the real power is built inside you. And you access it by pushing yourself to try, by just stepping forward when everything screams, stay put.
And this isn't just us, right? This hesitation thing. Thinking about doing something, but then
Nah.
waiting for that perfect right time.
Oh, it's universal. The chapter calls it total stupidity, which is harsh, but maybe relatable. And there's data. A survey cited found 85% of professional services employees admit holding back critical feedback because they're waiting for the right time.
Wow. Think about the impact of that. At work, in families, everywhere.
Exactly. But what I found really helpful here is the reminder that this isn't some unique personal failing. The source mentions Adam Grant's book, Originals, pointing out that even historical heroes, people we look up to, they struggled with this too. They doubted themselves, almost missed huge chances because they didn't feel ready.
That is reassuring, actually, knowing even the greats needed a push sometimes.
Totally. Like Michelangelo, when the Pope asked him to paint the Sistine Chapel, 1506, I think it was.
Yeah.
He felt so overwhelmed, so full of self-doubt, he literally ran away, fled back to Florence.
No way.
Yes. And the Pope had to basically stalk him, pester him for 2 years before he finally agreed. 2 years.
Incredible. And Wozniak, too, right, with Apple.
Yeah, Steve Wozniak. 1977, they had funding, the chance to launch Apple, but was scared, uncertain about quitting his job, wanted to wait a while.
So what happened?
Steve Jobs, friends, even his parents had to push him, really push him to take the leap.
And didn't we talk before about Dr. King? Admitting he wouldn't have accepted leadership if he'd stopped to think.
Exactly. And Rosa Parks saying she never thought she would be the one. In those moments, they didn't wait to feel perfectly ready. They just acted. Their conviction, their heart told them to move.
There's that Grant quote the source uses, the one that made the author's heart heavy.
Oh, yeah. We can only imagine how many Wozniaks, Michelangelos, and Kings never pursued, publicized, or promoted their original ideas because they were not dragged or catapulted into the spotlight.
Oh, he really hits home.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that core question the chapter keeps asking.
What are you waiting for?
Are you waiting to be asked? To be dragged?
Yeah.
Picked? Catapulted? Or are you going to find it in yourself to push? Waiting to feel ready, waiting for confidence, waiting for the right time, waiting till you feel like it or feel worthy or have more experience.
And this waiting, it's not harmless procrastination. It's dangerous sometimes. Sometimes there is no next time. The chapter stresses waiting isn't just passive, it's active. You're deliberately convincing yourself now is not the time. You're working against your own dreams.
But taking action, even just deciding to try, can change everything, like Paula's story.
Oh yeah, Paula. She saw a job posting, didn't think she quite qualified. But instead of backing down, she just decided, I'm going to try it.
And the key part.
She consciously chose not to focus on her shortcomings. She emphasized my qualities and got the job. She even said, looking back, that previously she would have given up in like 5 seconds.
So every excuse, every wait, it's actively limiting you. Just think about the time you've wasted waiting. Waiting for certainty, perfection, motivation. It adds up, doesn't it?
It really does. And while that fear of trying and maybe sucking right now feels huge, the chapter makes a powerful point. What really sucks is looking back later with regret.
Regretting the career you didn't pursue, the relationship you didn't start, not putting yourself out there.
Yeah, that regret is way heavier.
So the message is just, bam. There is no right time. There's only right now.
That's it. You get one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. It's totally 100% up to you to push yourself forward.
And this applies so strongly to creative stuff, too.
Yeah.
Right? Waiting for validation.
Oh, absolutely. The source calls it heartbreaking. Seeing creators wait for, like, executives or publishers to tell them their idea is good before they even start. That waiting, it's the death of your dreams.
Waiting won't make it happen.
Nope. Because the world, the chapter argues, often rewards the people who just have the courage to start. Without waiting. TV execs aren't just waiting for pitches. They're on YouTube looking for people who didn't wait, who just started making things.
Like E.L. James. 50 Shades.
Exactly. She didn't wait for a big publisher, started writing on a Twilight fan blog, self-published, built confidence by just doing it, putting herself out there again and again.
Or Ed Sheeran playing in a park at 15.
Yeah. No permit, no guarantee. Just started. Or Broad City filming clips on an iPhone.
And all those huge YouTube stars, Tyler Oakley, Michelle Phan, Hannah Hart, Stampy Cat.
The chapter says they'd still be living, quote, boring lives if they'd waited until they felt perfectly ready or had sponsors. They didn't wait to be picked. They just started creating their own path.
I love that quote from Kyra mentioned in the chapter.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Waiting, thinking, and almost doing it don't count.
Oof.
Direct, but true. You actually have to do it. Hashtag almost doesn't count.
And when you boil it all down, the source says the difference between people who achieve dreams and those who don't. It's just one thing, the courage to start and the discipline to keep going.
Which brings us to tools like the 5-4-3-2-1 rule. The chapter calls it a potential game changer.
Yeah, it's presented as this simple trick almost to just get you out of your head and into action and then keep you going.
So let's go back to Tom at the bar. That moment of decision, heart or head, dreams or fears.
It makes you think of Rosa Parks again, right? Doing what must be done. Tom knows deep down he needs to start living again. That's what must be done for him.
And waiting won't help. It actually makes it worse, right? That spotlight effect.
Totally. Your brain magnifies the fear, the uncertainty, makes it feel enormous. It's trying to keep you safe. But safe often just means stuck.
And the fear is real, let's acknowledge that. Uncertainty, self-doubt, rejection, feeling foolish, finding out you suck.
It all feels huge right before you take the step. Networking event, party alone, tough conversation, approaching someone, we focus on what could go wrong.
But safety isn't always the goal, is it? Especially if you want to rebuild, connect, create. The magic, wonder, and joy, the chapter says, happen the moment you take that first step despite the fear.
You can feel uncertain and be ready.
Yeah.
You can be afraid and do it anyway. You can fear rejection and still go for it. The feelings don't have to stop you.
So Tom starts counting. 5, 4, 3.
And by 2, he's moving. Heart racing, feeling alive. And here's the crucial part the chapter makes. What happens next?
Right.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant, really.
Yes.
Even if he gets rejected.
Yes. That's maybe the most profound point. Whether he gets the girl isn't the source of the power. What matters is that he started living again. He took action. Life isn't a rom-com. It's messy, hard, brilliant because you push through. Her response doesn't define his power.
Wow. That's a huge reframe. The treasure in your life is buried within you. It's not inside of someone else.
Exactly. Pom's power comes from Tom. Your power comes from you.
And you unlock it. How?
By listening to your instincts, that gut feeling saying go, and then pushing yourself, maybe using 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to actually honor it, discovering that inner true self is the real prize.
It reminds me of that Jean-Baptiste quote in the chapter.
Oh yeah, about realizing nobody was going to come and get me to live the life that I want.
And that taking action is the only way to create my own space into the world. Powerful.
It aligns perfectly with the chapter's core belief. Everybody could bring something new and original. That potential for massive greatness exists inside every single one of us.
But activating it takes daily courage, little pushes.
Yes, listening to those simple instincts. Get up and face the day. Suck it up and start walking. Take care of your nephews. Don't give up your seat. When you follow what your heart says must be done, the chapter says there's no debate. The mental chatter stops. A decision to move cuts through it.
You really are just one decision away.
Mm-hmm. But often we wait for that guarantee, don't we? Proof it'll work out before we try.
Definitely. We want to know we'll get the girl or land the deal.
But the chapter reminds us, success, whatever that looks like for you, it's fundamentally a numbers game.
You got to play to win.
Exactly. To even play, you have to start. And to win, you usually have to keep going. Big dreams require the long game. It's rarely one and done. You got to work for it.
And those examples of persistence are just mind-blowing. Rovio. Angry Birds.
51 unsuccessful games first. 51.
Wow. And Mark Ruffalo. Nearly 600 auditions.
Almost 600 before his first role. Babe Ruth struck out 3,330 times.
James Dyson.
Yeah.
5,127 prototypes for a vacuum cleaner.
Incredible, isn't it? And Picasso, over 50,000 works of art to get maybe 100 masterpieces. That's like 2 pieces a day on average.
It really drives it home. Success is a numbers game. And you can't win if you're stuck waiting.
Choosing courage more often, taking more shots, even small ones. It just ups your odds dramatically.
So when you push yourself forward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever it takes, you open yourself up,
Yeah, to the world, to unexpected opportunities, to possibility. You might not get that one specific outcome you wanted right then, but that's not the main point, is it? The real treasure you find, as this chapter so powerfully argues, is the strength, the power being built inside you.
So bringing this all together, wrapping up, this chapter really hammers home a critical insight. The biggest barrier usually is an opportunity out there, or even lack of ability in here. It's our own hesitation.
Yeah, fueled by fear, by that mistaken idea that waiting is safer and that hope that someone else will, like, validate us or our ideas.
And the central message, it's challenging, but also incredibly empowering, I think. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for permission. The power you need, it's already inside you.
And you activate it with courage, the courage to start even small, and then the discipline to keep going, day by day, moment by moment.
And this applies to, well, everything. Rebuilding your life like Tom, launching something creative, speaking up, just trying something new that scares you a bit. It's about deciding to unlock that internal treasure by taking action.
So maybe here's the thought to sit with, as we finish this deep dive. It comes right from the core question in this chapter. What single thing are you waiting for right now that you could just begin? What potential, what dreams, what parts of your real you might just fade away if you're not dragged or catapulted, but you fail to find the courage to push yourself forward?